Alright, let's have a little talk about combat knife throwing. Some people should stay in their lane. If you haven't trained in something, how can you talk about it? You're just going to make it look silly because they don't know. They don't, oh, look, it's not sticking. Maybe my wood's too hard. I can't, it doesn't just take a knife to stick into a piece of wood to say, there, you can use it for combat, or there, you can't. I think you have to look at a lot. And I think some people just need to stay in their lanes. So one of the main points that we always hear over and over again for combat knife throwing is don't throw your only knife. Okay, put that aside. That's common sense. Someone who doesn't throw a knife will say that. Some people like myself will have a sheath that can hold 3 or 6 knives in it, so they could just pull out 6 and be ready. And then they're going to have their other knives on them. Another thing is throwing at no spin. When you're thinking of a combat scenario, of course, no spin sounds the best method because no matter where you're standing, you can effectively throw without the spin having to be, where do I have to hold my knife? You can just pull it out and you're holding it the same way at every distance. No matter where you're throwing it, you can still hold it that same way, get your index ready and throw. And that's, of course, something very important because you don't know what scenario is going to bring you to what distance. You could be at 5 feet, 10 feet, you could be at 20 feet. What are you going to do? Those two things are well said. They've been said over and over again, and I think we need to get past that. It's what leads you up to the throw. That's the combat. So you have to think about everything you can imagine. Conditioning your body so you can get more power, more strength, more endurance, more speed. Then you have to start doing that. So in my training, I have a lot of feet work. I'm moving around a lot. I'm throwing in the snow, I'm throwing in the rain. I'm throwing when I'm sweating and I'm tired. And I'm throwing hard, and I'm trying to be consistent, accurate, and I'm trying to have a lot of power in my throw. Throw that knife really hard, and it's going to daze them, it's going to shock them, and you're going to approach, you're going to get away, you're going to utilize your training in what you're going to do before and after that throw. That power is important. People shy away from talking about the power because they can't put the power in when they throw. So they're happy showing off that they can just throw a knife and it sticks. And that's great, but when you're talking about combat, that might bounce off my chest. And even if it hits me and punctures me and gets a little bit of blood, when you're in a combat scenario, your adrenaline's pumping. People can get shot and they still won't stop, and that's a bullet. They're still going to be going like as if they're not shot. They might not even realize they're shot until everything settles down. Train for those worst case scenarios. Those will get you prepared for most scenarios. Don't drink when you throw. Don't smoke and do drugs. So train for those moments and be realistic with your training. Put your body in those scenarios, like the way you would be in those scenarios. Work on your foot speed, your balance. Like football, you go side to side, you cross your legs. So work on that footwork. Work on going forward, work on going back. Figure out all these movements that you're going to have to do. Go down, go up, do squats. So when you get into throwing, that's it. That's all you're doing, right? This arm's just making that throw. So when you want to go and actually that time happens and you need to throw that knife, make sure you're able to turn around if you have to and put some power into it. A few knives on you if you're a combat knife thrower. Like I said, a sheath that can hold your knives. Boom. Right? Nice and concealed. It's probably about as heavy as a gun, probably as thick as a gun. Same thing. And you're going to be able to pull that out, and it's like you have a 3-round magazine. I like doing these types of movements. In today's video, you're going to see me going forward and you're going to see me going back. Because I'm going to pull my knives out if I have to. And just the intimidation factor. When you see karate, people are doing these movements to intimidate you so that you might not even have to fight. Same thing. With your knives, you bring them out. Get ready to throw. Hey man, back up. I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble. If that person's getting a little bit more loud, hey, and you can even approach them a little bit more, all right? Let's back up. You go your way, I go my way. And you don't let go of that person. Your eyes are focused on them and you're backing up. You're ready. You're not going to let go. You're not going to turn around and walk away. You're using this intimidation factor and how you train. And you're putting it into play. Oh, someone comes up behind you. Boom, and you can turn around quick. This is the training we want. You can take out a giant with a slingshot and a rock. So the knife is not unrealistic. You really gotta just know how to throw it right, and be able to do it in any situation you get yourself into. The trick shots are fun and all, but they actually help. And that's another topic, but moving targets, you can obviously understand the simplicity to that and why it would be effective in combat. Training your mind and the way you throw to something in motion, because the body moves. I was showing it in one of my videos on YouTube. People aren't going to be necessarily standing still when you throw a knife at them. Their general reaction to when a knife or anything is thrown at them is to duck, to dodge, to go to the side or right. So I told people to aim for the center of mass and not go for a headshot, because the main thing that's going to move is the head. The body, in that center of mass, the body will be there. Unless they're jumping out of the way, that's good too for you. Have your next one ready and already be throwing for that motion where the body's going. But generally, you know, we want to aim for the center of mass. I've only told you a little bit. There's so much more I can talk about. Do this for the right reasons, right? Righteous reasons. You know how you're training. You know what you can handle. Do what you got to do. I'm here for you. And you have yourself a good one. God bless. Here I'm displaying how I hold my gun. As you can see, it's very similar to how I hold my knife. As I previously said, here's some basic footwork, moving away from the target and towards the target. Something quick I want to talk about, throwing from the sheath. So a lot of people think, you know, throwing from the sheath is important for combat knife throwing, and I don't think that is as realistic as you think. So let's look at a simple scenario. There's a crowd, there's commotion, yelling. People are almost even yelling for help, and you're going to approach that. So you have a sheath that's going to hold your knives in it. Pull them all out. Have them out in your hand. Approach it. Kind of just monitor, observe what's going on. And then you start to see some weapons being drawn. And you're going to then put your up like you're cocking your weapon. Hey, that's enough. Everybody, back up. Back up. We don't want any trouble. Everybody, come on. Nope, sir, we don't want any trouble. You just back up. I'm going to back up. You go home. You enjoy the rest of your evening. That's it. Sir, put it away. They don't want any trouble. That's enough. Everybody just settle down now. This is getting serious. Let's calm ourselves down. Sir, put it away. I put it away, sir. That's enough. Sir. All right, that's enough. Sir. That's enough. All right, he's down. Someone call the ambulance. Call 911. All right, just keep your distance, everybody. Keep your distance. He could be getting up. Hey, sir, stay down. We're going to get you some help. Sir, stay down. He's done. Now you're going to have to attend to your victim. All right? That's a scenario you can think about. A similar situation, you'd be out in the bush, hanging on a campfire. There's an animal 20 yards out. It's looking at you. You caught its attention, and it's approaching you. Pull your knives out. That animal's looking. It's coming close to you. You're already thinking about what you can do, but you got your weapon in hand ready to go. You don't need to pull a knife from your sheath, but you have your weapons out. That animal's approaching. You're on your feet. You're quick on your feet, and you react. I hope nobody has to throw from the sheath, because that's giving yourself that last second scenario. And I don't want to get myself in a last second scenario. So in that last second, you didn't think about anything, you got caught off guard. That's the last second scenario. You're caught off guard, you're surprised, and you have a split second to react. So at least you've trained to pull that knife out of your sheath and throw. But that's not something I hope anyone has to get themselves into. Realistically think about what you're doing in your training. If you're a combat knife thrower, then be realistic about it, okay? Hope that helps. You have yourself a good day. God bless.